Hey, this is Fish, and we've got something new here with a podcast, and we're going to start doing this. It's called the Fish Tank, and in the Fish Tank, my very first guest is my good friend, Olga Rodriguez, which I know that you have a little trouble putting Olga and Rodriguez together. We'll talk about that. But she's here to talk about Marysville's Fiesta, which is going to be exciting. It'll be this Saturday. And so I wanted the opportunity, and she was willing to drive all the way up here from South Texas somewhere. Anyway,
pretty close.
Olga, how are you this morning?
Yes, good morning. I woke up at 5 a.m. I just want you to
just
know.
for this? Would you?
Yes, just for my drive from Lincoln. It takes time to get it ready and get it going. Thank you for having me.
Thing. Well, we've been friends for a long time.
We have.
And
in a previous life, for sure.
We're doing.
Yes. Yes.
And when I first met you, I did ask you that. How did you get Olga and Rodriguez? But you get that a lot, right?
I do. It's so funny. Folks meet me over the phone, just not in person, and then they finally get to meet me, and they're like, "You're not what I expected."
You're not a big Russian
Olga
girl.
To look like. Yeah. Since childhood, I've gotten that, so that's funny. But yes, it's Olga is actually my grandmother's name. My mother named me after her mother.
Isn't that
so
cool?
I'm super proud of it. Yes, and Rodriguez is what I got for my husband. So.
We want to thank Jermaine publicly for helping you out with that.
For this amazing name. But I'm super proud, though.
I would be.
People don't know what box to put me in. I look a little ambiguous, and so it helps to say, like, I'm a Rodriguez. I speak Espanol.
So, I don't speak any Spanish. I stop at Hola.
Hola. Pescado. You know pescado?
I do know pescado.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to learn tank, and then I can call it the
pescado tank.
Pescado tank.
We'll add to your vocabulary at the Fiesta.
Okay.
Yeah.
So listen, we're here to talk about that, but I want to mention this. When I met you, I didn't realize how large the scope of what you know how to do was, because I met you and you were doing marketing.
Yes.
And when I think of marketing, right, I don't think about events, and especially a large scale event. And you were working at the mall and were doing events for them. And I remember the first event I went to, I went, man, this gal she not only knows how to market it, she knows how to put the pieces together and actually do it.
Yeah.
And then we kind of lost track of each other for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, not really, but and then I get this phone call. We're doing the Marysville Fiesta. And I went, I could do the Marysville Siesta. I'm good with that.
You do
one.
that after the
We
Fiesta.
do that?
You come out, you eat, you drink, you dance to the music, and then you go and you take a siesta.
So let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
you got this put together. So how did this kind of happen?
This was such an amazing concept with a great group of people that just care about the community, number one, right? So that was the most important thing. And every time I host events, a key component of that has to be cause marketing. So, leave the community better than it was before you even started, because events make a huge impact on the economy.
They do.
Right? And so that's really, really important. But they really do enhance quality of life. And so it just makes sense to partner with local communities. So, this concept Fiesta is so important because it brings people together. Like, who doesn't know what Fiesta means, right? Even if you don't have, I think now it's just part of like American language.
Yeah, it means party.
Party,
Yeah.
along with tacos and queso and things like that. And so,
you guys were talking about it, so as a group and you were picking a name, so Olga Fest got turned down?
It did. I pitched my name several times. And
And they were like, I don't even know what that is. What's an Olga Fest?
Yes,
right? It's like a fiesta I can get. Right?
I have to mention RJ, who's an amazing partner. And that really was just his ingenuity and trying to land on a name that made sense.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll be traveling it as well. It fits wherever you go. And so
he's really bright for a 15-year-old.
Really,
I mean, it's like the guy he's very smart.
You think no. He's actually, I
well,
really
you don't
do have
look
to
a
give
whole
him
lot
credit.
older, so it's like
Thank
between
you.
the two of you,
I turned
it's like
40 this year,
like,
so thank you.
What?
I did. But let's not digress from the fact
Okay,
that
we won't.
It's an amazing concept.
Wow.
And I did not solely come up with it, although putting it together has been such an amazing marriage of ideas. It really has been. RJ is in the community. He's here, you know, and I somewhat am, like you said, right, in a previous life, working out here in Yuba Sutter, I got to know the people and the community and the cultures. And so I'm plugged in that way, and it makes sense for me. I'm just a short drive away. But it really, you have to have synergy with the people you partner with. And the Fiesta is going to be that. It's that coming to life.
Well, I like that name because it actually, to me, and I don't know about most people, but it incorporates this idea of something, you know, large and all-encompassing, and wow, you know, it's a party, and so it's music and food and all kinds of things that you can add to it.
Yeah,
and
I think
so
that's what
it's expandable. It seems.
I agree. That brings us together, because when you think of a fiesta, obviously you're thinking Latino, Hispanic culture, right? What is a fiesta to us? Where there's going to be some yummy food that your mom and your aunts and your grandmas cooked, right? Or that probably your dad helped cook as well. There's going to be amazing music, hopefully some cumbia, because that's my favorite. But also there's different components. There's music, right? There's leisure, there's drinks. But I think there's a commonality in that with a lot of cultures. Do you know what I mean? It's not exclusive to us Latinos, but everybody understands it and speaks fiesta.
Well, you know, I grew up a little Italian boy, right? You know, and
you guys can party too.
Yeah, and so a lot of it, there's something about that. The cultures when you exchange food.
Yes.
Food is huge, right? And when you actually start doing that with one another, it's like, hey, let's sit down and eat this, right? And so, you know, I have to tell, I'm looking forward to the food, but I'm also looking forward to, you told me that you've got a band that's coming in.
Yes.
And
we have a couple of bands. We have two.
Yeah. And I heard about that one, and
what did you hear? They're amazing, right?
Yeah.
I've experienced them live.
It's going to be, people are going to love it.
Yes.
They're going to love it.
Yes, they really are. It's such a treat. And also, we just learned they're going to be out here, I think, tomorrow as well, somewhere else.
We just announced that they were going to be out here, and I said, it's the same band that's going to be it.
Like, how did that happen? I don't know. They didn't even tell me they were, you know, obviously they don't have a reason to tell me where they're going, but when we booked them, that was such an excitement because I've experienced them live. But they are a perfect example of what we want to hear and what you would hear in your household at a fiesta. Yeah. You know, it's the R&B, it's the funk, and it's the Latin hits, and it's the cumbia. And so we're really excited about that. We're excited that they're coming out to this community as well. I believe they're based out of Sacramento. Don't quote me, but what a treat. It really is. Key of C is also coming out, which is a really wonderful, is it a duo we would call it? Perhaps, but they're really good too, and they play R&B hits too. So it's just a good time. Yeah. Are you going to be out there dancing? You're emceeing, by the way.
I'm not a dancer.
You're not?
No.
Do we get a foot tap?
If I have a guitar in my hand, I do a little dancing.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You're going to be out there tapping your feet for sure. If not, I'm going to grab your hand and we're going to dance. No pressure.
Man, that's a lot of pressure right there.
You're going to have to watch some YouTube.
So it's going to actually, and you're covering quite a bit of ground because you're going all the way from 3rd and D to 1st Street.
Yes.
And then across and over onto C Street.
Yeah. So if you picture like the letter H, right? So you've got D Street, C Street, and 2nd Street, which streams across, you know, but between 1st and 3rd. So D Street is where you find all of your amazing vendors. So it's going to be a food bazaar. That's all I got to tell you.
So the 93Q booth is at the corner of 3rd and D.
It's going to be at the corner of closer to 1st. So a little bit, because the stage is on 3rd. Am I saying that correctly?
Oh, I thought you had it the other way around.
Do we need to edit that? Is that correct? Stage is on 3rd and D.
Oh, okay.
But it's going to be facing south. So it'll be facing down the street.
Going the other way. And then we'll be at the other end.
Yes.
And so...
but I'll put you wherever you want, Fish. You just tell me. We'll move you.
Where's the food? That's what I want to I'm just being honest.
Listen, I just told you. You know, food bazaar. It's going to be all lined on D Street.
Well, because if you're sitting in a booth, and all you can smell is this great food coming in there, you're eating. Right?
We're going to bring some really delicious food, by the way. We've got over 50 vendors.
Wow.
And half of that is food.
Now, are any of them actually food trucks?
Yes, a few are food trucks, a few are what they would call a food trailer.
Okay.
We have actual food booths, so you've got a good combo of everything.
Yeah. The reason I ask that is food trucks are getting such a great rep as being great food.
Yes.
It's like they connect it. Oh, if it's a truck,
Yeah.
I can eat there. It's going to be good.
Yeah, and it's good
so-
food. It used to be you were a little weary if you had to
Yeah,
eat
exactly.
at a food
Yeah, there
truck.
was a reason why they called them roach goats.
Don't do it. I almost said it, but I didn't want to say it. We're trying to break stereotypes,
Are you?
okay?
Okay, so we'll break that. None of the food
No
trucks
longer are they referenced.
That is old
formerly
school.
known as.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
yeah.
So several food trucks, food trailers, which is very similar. It's just a trailer, and then the food booths as well. We're also going to have actually a food vendor in the beer garden too.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
smart.
That makes sense, right? Folks are having a nice drink. They can also eat. So El Fongoncito will be inside.
And that's something that I think people need to know.
Yes.
If you're going to drink, you have to stay in that area,
Yeah,
correct?
super important.
And so that way, that's a good idea. Then they have food there as well.
Yeah. So this year it's Casa Modelo, which is our beer garden was sponsored by Modelo, which we're so excited about. Yeah. But yes, you have to be 21 and over. You'll get your little wristband, and then you can stay in the nice beer garden. But it's going to be a treat. There's cornhole in there. We've got some really nice cocktail tables and a nice bar set up. So it'll be a nice.
You're a very
atmosphere.
detailed person.
Yeah.
So when you're doing an event like this,
Yeah.
how do you process that? In other words, where are the bathrooms? I mean, do you think of all that stuff?
Yeah. There is like a rinse and repeat to it sometimes. Not completely, obviously. Every theme has its own twists and turns. But for the most part, you take a really well thought out formula for successful events, and that covers guest experience and amenities and a contingency plan and things like that. And then you just use that as a template. And so restrooms would be one of them. But a beer garden, sometimes that's not possible. But sometimes it is. Sometimes the whole event gets fenced off and the whole thing is a fun beer garden. But it's just experience and doing it over and over again and making a lot of mistakes.
Well, I just wondered how much of it. I just wondered how much of it is a mom.
Oh,
Right, like
yes.
if I come in, I mean, does your thinking go? Well, what if you got little kids? Oh, okay. Well, we have to have a kids zone, right, or whatever.
Yes.
And so you have to think about that, right, and thinking about what kinds of things do
Absolutely.
a mom have to have.
I have evolved, I will say, from when you met me when my babies were tiny and their needs to what I need now. And I have 3 kids. So, yeah, there is this dynamic of like,
Well, you're a
what does
grandmother,
guest
right?
need?
Your kids are wait.
I just turned 40, excuse me.
Would you stop?
No.
Sorry, that slipped.
I know. No, the needs of your guests are super important. And even culturally, too, you want to be sensitive to what's happening in the community as well. And so that's the part where if you just do it for enough years, whether it was at a mall and you had 2,000 people or at a big, huge festival at Southside Park and you had 10,000 people. Do you know what I mean? You just learn from what works and what doesn't work. Part of it absolutely has to do with having kids, for sure. For
'Cause
sure. The needs of
yeah.
what and my kids will be out there, so you'll get to see them.
Last time I saw them was on a YouTube thing where they were cooking some meal with you, which was really
Yes.
fun to watch.
They love to cook. They'll
So,
bring it around.
so I have to ask you,
Yes.
tell me about your sponsors.
Yes.
And not only, because I'm okay with you mentioning who are your sponsors.
Okay.
But then also, it's this weekend, so
Yes.
is it too late for a sponsor? Too late for volunteers?
Never too late for a sponsor. Never, Fish.
Okay, all right. That's experience talking again.
Yes.
I can tell, right? It's like
We were just having actually the conversation with Gary about, I don't want to call them challenges, right? It's just parts of what move a festival forward when you're considering supporting it financially, making it happen, keeping it a free admission event, right?
Yeah.
And these are the things that we don't expect the public to think about because it's not for them to think about, it's for them to enjoy, right?
Yes.
So this component of creating a free admission event on this scale with a stage and sound and live band, right? All these things are cost. But we have this vision and this dream. And so what happens is, it takes financial backing to that. And so obviously myself and RJ supporting that financially, but you also have to think about attendance. And so if you charge, right, then that affects the attendance. And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. And so when folks ask me about sponsorship, I say all the time, and even the vendors, you and I have had that conversation of like, you want to encourage local vendors to come out, but you also have to consider the cost of living of the community that those vendors live in. Because I can bring in vendors from from Sacramento all the way to Chico. But do I really want to encourage that, or do I want to open the door for local vendors?
Yeah, give
So
them
how much do you
opportunity.
charge? So it's this delicate dance of what do you charge your vendors, because you want to include as many as you can that are locally. How much support do you have from sponsors, because they do make it possible. And then all the other things that are just costs at this point. And so absolutely, if you charge, yes, that's more money, right? But we really don't want to do that. We want to keep it free to the public. And so that takes support from sponsors.
So that it can stay
Absolutely.
a community event where
Absolutely.
it's offered to the community.
They
from
make
the
it
people.
possible.
That's
Not
really
completely,
good.
because the
Good.
vendors still pay, right?
Yeah.
And we're still supporting it financially as well. We're going to do what it takes because it's our vision and our dream. But the support of these sponsors is make or break for sure. So when you have groups like the American Lung Association who believed in it, there's, I can't put a price on it, although we had to because they're a sponsor, right? Because it has value to them as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I really do always want to make it a point to say how grateful we are, because they are part of the reason why it can be free.
Exactly.
So American Lung Association, which was an amazing supporter, and also the Yuba Water Agency, which I understand is also a supporter of.
We love those guys.
Really, yes.
We love those guys.
Yeah.
They do so many different things they support in Yuba County.
Yeah.
And it's been really, really good for the whole area because they do that, because
Yeah.
they want to sponsor.
Well, they get
things.
it. They get
do.
it.
They do.
They get it. And so it's not, I don't like to put like a salesman hat on, right?
Yeah.
I'm already a bulldog. I don't want to do that. It's just people either understand it and get the vision, or they don't, and that's okay too. You
Yeah.
know? And so I think for us with Yuba Water Agency, it made sense. They're such an amazing supporter, along with the American Lung Association, which does make it a smoke-free event. But it's all about wellness and health and, bringing the community together. So that was amazing. I already told you that the beer garden is a Modelo, Casa Modelo.
Yeah.
Modelo coming through with that was wonderful. It makes
Yeah,
sense
so
to have
nobody
Modelo.
should go there and ask for a Bud Light.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. We will take your wristband if you do
That's
that.
it. You're done.
Although we might.
Did you
have
happen to
Bud
notice
Light
the
at another one.
sponsor?
I know. We don't want to turn anybody away.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
open to
yeah.
all of the breweries. But yes,
Yeah.
in this case, it makes sense. It's a Fiesta.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to have Modelo. So that was really amazing. And then, of course, future Toyota of Yuba City. How
Oh.
amazing was that?
That's good.
Amazing supporter locally as well. So that was great. So we're excited. Our sponsors really do make or break us. So, yeah.
So I have to ask you. So I know we want the whole community to come.
Yes.
But because it's a fiesta, you have the cultural part of
Yeah.
it. And so are there going to be anything that is specific to culture? In other words, will there be a mariachi band? Will there be, right?
Yeah.
Are any of those things that that you guys have said, oh, yeah, we can bring that in? I always love the horses. Right?
Yes.
The whole horse thing.
No horses this year, but that's something for the list for maybe next year. So we obviously have the food.
Yeah.
So that covers that portion of it, and the drinks. But we have a couple of performers. I was just telling Gary in the studio there for radio that we are bringing the Aztec dancers, which is an important component
I've
to
seen
that.
them. Yes.
Representing the indigenous culture that really all Latinos and Hispanics come from. And so that's important to have that there. We also have baile folclórico. That's the women with the beautiful dresses. Every country does have a version
What
of
did
that.
you call that?
Baile folclórico. Can you say that?
Not going to happen.
We have to add that to the
Okay.
vocabulary.
Get that spelled
It's hard
out
for me to say it,
phonetically
too.
for me.
Yes, so they're going to be out there as well, along with Latin Touch representing that culture. Latin Touch is a good merge of what Latinos, Hispanics come into living in the United States, right, and where they're assimilating but also blending their cultures too.
We experienced that with Carlos Santana during
Yes.
the era of rock, because
Santana,
Carlos jumped in and he was able to say, "Hey, look, this is rock and roll with a Hispanic flavor," and because he was a lead guitarist, a lot of people thought he was a vocalist, but he wasn't. The vocalist was
I
somebody.
thought that too. Sorry, I'm
A lot of
ignorant to
people
that.
did. They thought Carlos, but he doesn't sing. I mean, if he does sing, it's probably in the shower, right? But he can play the guitar, and so that was a great experience. And so each culture can embrace music as it comes down the pike, and then they add their flavor to it.
Yes.
And Latin Touch certainly has done that with the R&B flavor, all of it, right? They've got it, and that's why I think people are going to really enjoy that, because it's you can hear the heritage.
Yes.
But you can feel the now.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the evolution, right?
Yeah.
You see it in the music. You see it in the food.
Yeah.
You see it in all of the cultures too, though. And that's why I think they all get it. We all have that similar experience of whether it's Italian American or Hispanic American, et cetera, on and on. We all can relate to that. That's why it works.
It's food, Olga.
Yeah.
It's all
and
about
music.
The food. Oh, yeah, and the
Remember
music.
Cumbia, yes.
I started saying the beer, but I don't drink.
I don't mean either, but
some, we're glad it's
Which, by
there,
the way,
right?
there's going to be micheladas and margaritas, so I know that's going to be a crowd pleaser. Yeah.
So a couple more things.
Yes.
Children. So are you going to have a children's area?
We are. We're going to have a kids zone.
Where's that going to be?
It's going to be on, so 2nd Street, picture 2nd Street, split in half is your beer garden, which has cornhole tournament inside of it. And then the other half is kids zone, sponsored by Enzo's Castle. So lots of activities and things for your kiddos to get their energy out. And that's all right on 2nd Street. It's completely blocked off for them. Yeah.
And then the other thing is, a lot of times when you go to an event, you look for vendors that sell some sort of memorabilia or something you can take home. Is there going to be any of that?
Yeah, we'll have a couple of artisans there selling definitely some Hispanic, Latino, Mexican style. Yeah, absolutely. Handmade products, et cetera, merchandise. So that's always going to be great. And that'll be on D Street. And then all of C Street will be that car show.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yes. Do you like cars?
I sold my hot rod. I can't go over there.
But you can enjoy someone else's hot rod.
Olga stuff.
I triggered something. I triggered it. Yes, so C Street. And that's such an amazing component, too, because that's supporting the Marysville Business Alliance.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And I do understand that the VFW is going to be a part of that as well. So, again, cool. Like community support, Fiesta.
Well, I'm excited. We're going to be there. 93Q will be there. And where are we going to be? First and
You're going to be
D.
right on 3rd and D on stage with a microphone in your hand.
What? It's my natural habitat, right?
Yes. You'll be right at home. It'll be perfect. I'll throw a pupusa at you. I'll put a drink on the stage for you. It'll be great.
Wow. So our 93Q booth is at the other end, though.
Yes, but we can move it. I thought you said you wanted to be away from the stage.
Yeah, because then we'll play music at the other end, right?
Yeah.
We'll have music. I'm looking at RJ.
Yeah. I'll show you
the
the
map.
map.
For those of you that don't know, RJ's
I know,
right
I'm like, are we
behind the
editing
camera.
this? Because now we're in logistics.
No, okay.
But yes,
no,
I'll show you the
I
map
just,
and we'll move you where
I got to remember that so I get there, because otherwise you go, where's Fish?
Are you going to be in the booth or are you going to be on stage? Because you're the
Both.
MC.
I'll be back and forth. So I'll get the booth set up, and
we'll
then
get in the
I'll
golf
be on
cart
stage
and
to
go
MC.
up to the stage.
I get to ride in the golf cart?
Well, if you're
Life
nice.
is good. All right, so seriously, I want to invite everybody. It's this weekend, and it will be from noon till 8 p.m. Of course, setup. People will be setting up earlier. I recommend people get there early. Find yourself a good parking space, right?
Yeah. Lots of free parking in the area as well, too.
Yeah,
so if you get
lots
there,
of places to do that.
Yeah.
And then, man, try to plan your day so you get to see everything. And if you got little kids, don't forget that. Don't just drag them booth to booth so you can eat, right? Make sure they get a little something to eat.
Yes.
Stick them in the kids zone. Go to the beer garden.
Put your wristband at the kids zone. The weather is going to be really nice.
Yeah, gorgeous.
So good.
Gorgeous.
We'll have some nice umbrellas, placed throughout as well. But the weather is going to be so good. I'm really excited about that.
So, anything I've forgotten? Anything else that you want to tell people?
I don't think so.
Wow, look how good that was.
I think we got it all.
We did
we get it all?
Yeah, but
12 to 8, free admission, music.
Oh, free admission.
Band.
Yeah.
Latin
we
Touch
mentioned
starts
the sponsors.
at 2, so that's important.
Oh, yeah.
If they want to see them,
2
they
to
start
5.
playing at 2. 2 to 5 is Latin Touch, and Key of C is 6 to 8, so they're going to close it out. Aztec Dancers will be at 5. So, yeah, I think timing is important. The fact that it's free is important. The weather is going to be great. So just pick a time frame that makes sense for you, whether it's lunch or dinner. Yeah, I think so.
I'm loving it. Well, listen, we want to thank you guys. This is the first episode of the fish tank.
Amazing.
With my friend Olga, who
Hopefully you'll bring me
appreciate.
back. I'll behave.
I bring you back. She's easy. She's brilliant, right? She's easy to interview. Just say, hey, what do you want to talk about? And Olga grabs it, right?
We'll
and
go.
so this will be the Fiesta, and we'll see what happens next. But don't miss such a great opportunity for you and your family this weekend. Downtown Marysville. Easy. Find a parking space, get in, spend the time. 12 to 8.
Yes.
There's just a block of time
And
there.
there's enough for everyone.
But,
So stretchy pants and comfy shoes.
yeah. Yeah, but if you're me, don't wear shorts, because then everybody has to wear sunglasses, okay? Because it's too wide of legs, okay? We're not doing that. Anyway, thanks for this episode of The Fish Tank, the very first one. You'll be able to get this on our YouTube site, which is 93Q TV. You can go there. And then also we'll put it up on our Facebook at 93Q. So I want to thank you guys for watching and listening to 93Q's Fish Tank.